Yeah, it's a little bit different mana challenge than when you're popping nitro type thing. So you have to. I can be overtaken in it. Wow, I shouldn't put my eye in there. And since I'm the one with the track record in doing so, type thing. Oh man, the train's totally getting forward. It's like nothing to it. The same as with Black Mage. It's built on the same Llanowar Elf core of fast mana or wild growth type thing that means. Same with the 4 L's within the block thing. It's the same system. From going from Umbral to Astral. Less damage type thing that means, but one is it's got its own free transcendence in it without popping the transcendence forward. And just like the Cure 2, Free Cure, and the Overcure. The Cure 3 is the Overcure, but a lot of people call the Cure 2 or the Cure 3 the same thing, call both of them the Free Cure, and that's not true. The Cure 3 is actually an over, and the Cure 2 is actually a free. In your traits type thing that means. Whoops. Do that, and white mages shouldn't be as useless. And tripped out on that. But they're the white mages are the Gun N' Roses with dolphins in front of the concert, and their Symphony Metallica type thing that means. They can't do. Okay, and like AD&D, if you're a DPS person, which the game is based off of in a lot of respects, yep, tank and the longsword shield people type thing and the other. If you're a DPS person, when you get to resistance versus protection, a DPS person should be for the per round one, which is the resistance one type thing. The protection one is the Guns N' Roses concert pop. It's got big dolphins and stuff like that, but it can't do bar concerts. There's nowhere to put the pool type thing that means. And all that freak fireworks stuff type thing. Yeah, it goes like all epic and shit. And people don't like that when they need things to be more constant in that. And that is why, just like the other skill set, they have to break a paradigm from IBM framework and Apple framework as either not being the same, which they aren't, or in that type of sense of one's inferiority and then thus universal inferiority without having any other case in which that's more useful. An Apple one is fairly creative type thing and more open. An IBM one was kind of destined to do some other than business frames type thing that means because their servers have no other play. Yeah. Oh, it's good consistency, it's constant, it doesn't play around type thing. It's the only thing it does. The Apple one, like the Apple IIe and 2GS, did better in schools when they were first released, I think that means, because they were creative and had creative Apple Paint and other programs on that to help people with creative learning type thing without being the rigid structure type thing that told them in some type of like codex that creativity was a sin. You know, which the Apple was the only thing that could handle that creativity with its programs type thing in that sense, which are great for creative learning type thing in that sense. Which is why Apple did better in schools. It's the only machine that could make for creative learning type thing. It had a talking computer. It had the Paint program. IBM Paint was an Apple Paint. I think it had more colors type thing. Yeah, Apple Paint was way superior. And Apple might have had the turtle type thing too. Yep, had the Paint turtle with the geometry spirals type thing. Yeah. Because our school had Apple, so did I. It's the only you learn on apples that and if you want to do something that's meant for like rigid structure type thing, that means like a non-respective DOS type thing, then you go to IBM. Yep. And then do your RWXs, DIRs, and directories type thing. Yeah. Paint like colors. You've got black, yellow, and green. You know, maybe white. Yeah. Like gray text type thing. Can't think there's you can open up a side window on Macintosh, but I think they do colors type thing. Yeah. Their graphic user interface, pictures. Picture test. Directory run. No, God, no. Things confused. And a lot of people, anyway, it's just easier to say it's wrong than that. Now, in that, in between Apple and IBM or microbrewery beer, Sam Adams versus Busch beer or Summer Shades or something like that, being all the same beer. Whoa. This is the same thing between resistance and protection. In that type thing, resistance does per round at 30 per round, I think it is max. Over 10 rounds, it's 300, okay? And that's more than 120. Now, a lot of people in that 10th round say that 300 is the first round, is 300 too, type thing that means, which is 30. You take 100 pop in round 3, they're like you take 0 damage. You take 70 damage. Because that thing, in that type of sense, can only block off 30 type thing in that particular round of damage reduction per round type thing that means. Even though its total is going to be 300 in future type thing, that future is 9 rounds away from the first round type thing. Which means you get to count that protection or resistance from that round, and this round you can't count that type thing that means. So 10 rounds times 30 per round type thing is 300 in round 10, round 9, round 8, round 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, which is then 300 times 10, which is 3,000 damage reduction. Actually, it's only 30, which is 2,970 damage reduction off. In that particular moment of time 1 and time 2 are equal. You can use time 2's damage reduction in time 1. You're not in that round yet, so you only get 30. Exactly. You took 100 damage in time 1 to think, so you're taking 0 damage. No, you're taking 70 because it can only block out 30 type thing that means. Exactly. Now, protection from energy is reverse of that. It can't handle round 10 type thing that means, but it can handle round 1 with 120 protection. So you wouldn't take 70 unless there's a reflex save or things like that. That's clever stuff type thing, but that's not the math of what that is type thing that means. If you use the math of that type thing, then you are avoiding it, and you're not. People are using that math type thing to say that protection never had a use of any time whatsoever, which it doesn't, because of the reflex save. That's what I'm trying, in knowing the plane or car or something like, or stick gear or things like that. That means, you're going through that. You're just using first and fifth or sixth gear type thing. Well, you have to rev up through second. No, there isn't type thing. That's not right. That second gear actually, it's like neutral. It does exist type thing that means. And they didn't block that damage when that occurs type thing in that sense, which it never occurs, right? Because metal would do the same thing in the opposite, and fortitude and will. And they overlook that. Free cure and overcure of white mage is like the resistance protection one type thing of a white mage versus astrologian or scholar. Scholar and astrologian are the resistance. They're the 31 type thing that means. White mage is the protection one. It can only do the big one. Now, it protects you for 100 type thing that means, and it has 20 left over the next round. But if another 100 comes, it can't do anything. It can do 20 more type thing, and then you take 80. In the third round, you've used all 120 type thing that means. So in the third round, it does 0. Resistance of energy still does 30. That's right. I like it for the disc, but not the moment thing that scholar and what do you call astrologian can build up to max type thing with that 30 with the stuff that they do type thing in their DPS curing of resistance for 30 per round. Now, scholars swear type thing that means they're faster than benediction is a white mage. With combat casting off type thing, I've never had a benediction do more than 8,000 or 4,000 or 3,000 in anybody's career of character in Final Fantasy anywhere in the world. I have 7 billion people, 4 million users, I guarantee you're a liar. Because I popped Alphanoid for it for 35,000 in there. So I don't know what they're doing with their character in that type of thing in that sense. But White Mage, when it says all hit points, it works just like heal from first edition up to the D4 type thing, and it doesn't have the D4 in there. If they have 20,000 hit points, I think that means Thanks. Then they get 20,000 back. If they're at 1 hit point and they're going up to 20,000, people say they're going to go to 3,000 and be 17,000 short of max. It used the word all, like the detergent type thing that means. And all was up to 3,000. It all would be up to their 20. It's 20,000. It's 1 to 20. Bam. Yep. Just like that. And Scholar and Astrologian is faster than that with their Helios or something like that. Helotomia type thing. I mean, oh, it's. I don't think it is. Yeah. Yeah. Only White Mage does the protection like that. And Treya uses all the big stuff of White Mage on its protection type thing to do so type thing, and it means it's not Apple, it's IBM. Yeah. And in that IBM platform type thing, and it's that slow clunker of it type thing, is Cure 3, Medica 2, and Benediction. Yeah. Yep. Maybe the Tetragrammaton type thing that means. Yeah. It does like 7,000 or something like that, or 8,600, 9,000. And that Tetragrammaton type thing that means, which has a 60-second cooldown, or a 30 to 60-second cooldown, which is not 30 type thing, because it won't be there type thing that sense, has no mana cost with it. The cooldown has a time with it type thing, or a number. The casting of it doesn't. It's a spell-like ability type thing that means.